But it was just 4 days ago where we would have agreed. We would have both signed off on Aaron Rodgers, 1 more year with the Packers, and then if they don't trade him, he tries to blow it up.
Right.
And it all got accelerated, and now he's trying to blow it up. And I think we're at a point where it can be generally accepted. That's exactly what he wants because he hasn't said otherwise. He hasn't said otherwise. There's too much out there, and he's essentially confirmed it. We'll play the clip from Mike Tirico in a minute, but here, that's where we are in just 4 days. How much the world has changed for the Packers and the NFL in 4 days.
Yeah, it is amazing. You know, it's amazing just that, too, it seems the acceleration point had really nothing to do with Green Bay and Rodgers. I think that's kind of the fascinating thing, too. It's the fact that San Francisco called and talked about a trade that, of course, blew this thing and blew the roof off of it. Well,
I think the roof was still blowing off of it on Thursday.
I agree. Well, I don't know, but I don't know if I'm going to agree with that. I don't know. I don't know about that for sure. That I can't say. So
I have a feeling. I can't prove it. I have a feeling that San Francisco made that call after hearing from David Dunn or someone else close to Rodgers. It was worth their time to make.
I'm sure.
I have a feeling.
I'm sure they know there's a lot of issues there. I mean, Shanahan and LaFleur, as close as they are, I would think that, you know, Shanahan and John Lynch had a pretty good gauge on the temperature of knowing that, at least that, hey, things aren't all, you know, fine and dandy there in Green Bay. And like to what you're saying, Mike, I mean, I'm with you to the fact that I think the roof or the door was being blown off anyways behind the scenes here as we go, as we're starting to read and find out more and more. To me, the big thing now is just comes down to one thing. Is Rodgers going to go full court press and blow the roof off this thing right now and say, screw you, Green Bay, I'm not playing here, and really play hardball and try to get the trade done now? Or is this one of those things where they're just going to find a way to, you know, mend the fences here to just get through the year because they know they both have a good football team, and then that'll be it? I mean, that's really where we're at, right?
Well, that is where we're at, and we'll dig through all those possibilities coming up. For now, let's properly set the stage, though. Mark Murphy, the Packers CEO, posted a periodic Q&A on social media, not on social media, but on their website, and it had a fairly interesting preamble about the Aaron Rodgers situation, and he acknowledges this is an issue they've been working on for several months, and he makes it clear that there wasn't just one trip to California to try to unruffle Aaron Rodgers' feathers. There have been a number of occasions that he and Brian Gutekunst, the GM, and Matt LaFleur, the head coach, have flown out to California to see Aaron Rodgers. We're very much aware of his concerns, and we've been working with him and his agent, Dave Dunn, to resolve them. We remain committed to Aaron in 2021 and beyond. Well, yeah. Okay. There's more. They look forward to competing for another Super Bowl championship. Yeah, look, they're committed to him in word. They're not committed to him in contract. And that's where this all started. This was last year, the trade for Jordan Love, pissed off Aaron Rodgers. I am impressed by the extent to which he can hold a grudge. He will hold a grudge forever. And he acted on that grudge on the perfect day from his perspective to do it. Here we are, first day of the draft. 1 year anniversary of when you turned my life upside down. I shall now turn your life upside down. So without that contractual commitment from the team that binds the player and the team together for multiple years, that's where the Packers wanted to be, year to year, year to year. We want to have the flexibility, if Aaron slips, to go to Jordan Love and trade Aaron Rodgers. And Rodgers wants more. And I feel like the window's closed on the opportunity to get that commitment, to get the commitment in contract. And that's why we are where we are now. I think the draft was the unofficial deadline. Remember when Russell Wilson gave a deadline to the Seahawks mid-April, start of the offseason program, got to have my new contract 2 years ago, and they acted and they got it done. I have a feeling, we haven't heard this reported yet, I have a feeling Aaron Rodgers and his people made it clear you got until the first day of the draft to fix this, and they didn't. And here we are.
Well, I mean, here we are. You know, there's I don't even know where to begin with this talk. I mean, okay, so where are we going to go from here? I mean, that's the big thing. I don't know the contract situation. Hey, are the Packers going to invest more than 1 year of, you know, guarantees or being linked to Rodgers for more than 1 year? To me, that's got to come down to that, right? I mean, I would think it's about 2 years, 3 years, something like that. Is Rodgers going to do that at this point? I don't know. I mean, I don't know if Green Bay's going to do it. But Rodgers isn't going to sign on with Green Bay if it's just going to be like, hey, you made me happy for 1 year, and then maybe I come back for the second year with some security. Or is it still going to be that type of situation where it's like, well, there's a little security, but we could get rid of you, and yeah, we take a good, dead money hit to our football team, but we could still do it. Rodgers is not going to play ball with that. He's not. This is crazy territory we're in. Crazy territory. Again, there's no one to blame but Green Bay here. They drafted a quarterback and traded up in the first round when they had one of the 5 or 6 best players in the league playing the position of quarterback. Now he is the 2 or 3 best players. He's MVP of football. So this is unprecedented territory to where they don't want to commit to him. He wants a commitment, and we're at a stalemate. And that's where I don't think Rodgers is going to go for it. I think they've burned the bridge too much here. I have a feeling that Rodgers is going to be like, that's it. It's over. I want to get the hell out of here, and we're just going to see that happen here sometimes in the next month or two.
That's why I think he gave them 3 months to try to
Maybe
fix
you're right.
And the solutions that they have proposed.
Right.
And I'm told they've offered him an extension, right? They've offered him the security, but I think at a certain point, you got to pay me more than Jared Goff. I think that's part of it too. It's not just you tie your hands contractually for the next 3 years. It's beyond that now. He wants an apology, whether it's financial or whether it's more than that. But before we get to my thoughts on what I think he wants and what he reportedly wants, let's hear from Mike Tirico from Saturday's coverage of the Kentucky Derby. He had a chance to talk to Aaron Rodgers, who declined to speak on camera, but he spoke plenty to Tirico. Here's what Tirico said.
And I bumped into one of the VIPs here, who just happens to be the biggest news name in sports right now. That's Aaron Rodgers. And we've heard of the story of Green Bay and what's going on with Aaron. He's here with his fiancée, Shalane Woodley, here this weekend. He didn't want to talk on camera. I can tell you, I characterize Aaron as disappointed that news has come out of this rift with the Packers. He expressed a couple of times how much he loves Green Bay, loves the fans, loves the franchise. There is a fissure, there is a chasm between management and the reigning NFL MVP. We're just not sure how this is going to play out. I'll watch closely over the next couple of weeks to see what we hear from the Packers side and when Aaron does speak.
A fissure, a chasm. That's the words that Mike Tirico used, and I think it accurately reflects where things are. And it's very difficult to repair a fissure. It's very hard to bridge a chasm when the bridge has been blown up, Chris. And that was stunning. And Aaron Rodgers does nothing accidentally. Nothing happens coincidentally, accidentally, happenstance. It's all concocted. It's all planned. It's all strategic. And I admire him for that. This isn't criticism. It's just a way to understand how we got to where we are. And the only thing that I think is funny about what Tirico said, the idea that Rodgers is disappointed that news of this. No, he's not disappointed that news of it came out. And he made sure and Rodgers, I'm saying, made sure that he professed love to the fans and to the town because he does not want them to turn on him, even though I sense that some of them are starting to. But that was the message from Rodgers. Basically, he is done. And I don't know what they can do at this point to change his mind. I think it's too late. I think the battle lines are drawn, and now we see how the Packers handle this. We saw how the Texans handled it, and they were just about ready to trade Deshaun Watson before the legal issues arose for Watson back in March. Will the Packers warm up to the idea of trading Rodgers between now and the start of the regular season? Or I guess maybe the trade deadline if he stays away. It really could be Carson Palmer 10 years ago, where a broken collarbone for Jason Campbell opened the door for the Raiders to give up too much for Carson Palmer and that impasse. Could it be that Rodgers just sits and waits and waits and waits and waits indefinitely for the Packers to decide to do something?
I think he's the kind of stubborn SOB that would do it. I'll just say that, I mean, just a read of not really knowing a guy and just watching him all those years. And of course, financially, the money he has, just the kind of person he is, I do think he's willing to draw that line in the sand and kind of be like, screw you, I'm not coming back. We'll see where it goes. I mean, anybody you talk to in the NFL, This has been percolating since the end of the football season. There's no doubt about that. Green Bay has obviously known this has been going on, and Rodgers is not happy. I mean, hey, at base level, the fact that organizations don't fly coaches, GMs, presidents of their organizations to go see the quarterback multiple times. One time is an absolute holy crap catastrophe. One time is there's a catastrophe, we have to get on the plane. When we're going multiple times in a 3-round, go around here with 3 different people, that means we're beyond catastrophe. That means it's holy crap. He's told you, to me, it just looks like he's told you there's really no way I want to play for the football team anymore. And then they continue to go to hope they can inch away at the conversation to finally get him back to okay, he's at least thinking about coming back. But, he's held a grudge. I think you're right. He's held a grudge. He played awesome football. He had to see Brady win a Super Bowl and play really average to beat him in an NFC Championship game and then go there and then win it. So he had to see that. And then he gets the no guarantees off of that, Mike. And here's one thing that I will continue to go back to that I think is going to always piss him off is the fact that he was so blindsided by the trade last year. That to me is something that's jumped out a lot during this process because of Shanahan and the 49ers. Here they are, we're going to try to trade you and draft somebody. They've let Jimmy G know every step of the way what's going on. He's Jimmy G. They don't have to tell him crap. No one would care. No one would make a big deal about it. They didn't even let Rodgers have an inkling, a clue. And I bet you that pisses him off a lot too. Sorry for talking so long there.
No, that's an excellent point because I think that is one of the reasons why we are at the point of no return. And it's one of the reasons why this happened when it did. There was a quote from Brian Gutekunst to Peter King in which the broader message is they got one trade call this weekend for Aaron Rodgers, and that makes sense. You can't build a trade like that in an instant. It's going to take some time. It's going to take some thought, and everyone's otherwise focused on their draft boards. And Gutekunst said, and this stands out to me, you never want to see those things or read those things. He's never said that to me and never said that publicly. That relates to something we're going to talk about in a second regarding Gutekunst's future. At the same time, I'm a lifelong scout, and we work all year for these 3 days. We couldn't let this distract us from the task at hand. That's a nice way of saying, I am pissed off. This is Brian Gutekunst. I am pissed off that I settle in for draft weekend, and I'm trying to make this team better. And I got to deal with this. I got to deal with this crap as I'm getting ready to try to go out and find the players that will make this team better. I got this guy all of a sudden throwing grenades into the nest as we're trying to figure out how to make this football team better. Are you kidding me? If I'm Gutekunst, I'm livid.
Yeah.
And I appreciate him taking the high road because at this point, being upset with Aaron Rodgers and making it known he's upset with Aaron Rodgers is not the way to fix it. And on top of everything else, on top of the distraction that comes from the news that Aaron wants out that lands on draft weekend, the report from Charles Robinson of Yahoo Sports that Rodgers, king of the grudge, king of the North, king of the grudge, give him the belt, all-time grudge leader, he wants Gutekunst fired, according to Robinson. That is a grudge. I don't agree with it, but that's a grudge.
Yeah, it is a grudge. There's no doubt. I mean, again, I don't know what to say about, whether he wants Gutekunst fired or not. I'm sure he doesn't like him. I mean, of course he doesn't. Of course he doesn't. Especially if he got, surprise attacked, kamikaze style last year in the draft for him. So, yeah. Hey, Rodgers, throw grenades, whatever. I don't know if it was a grenade. It was a full-fledged bomb that was thrown on Friday or Thursday night by the Rodgers camp. I think they've been throwing grenades all offseason, and they've been throwing them up there. But I also don't think Rodgers gives a damn. He doesn't give a damn. He's like you said, Mike, he's thinking about last year's draft going, grenades, bombs, you threw a nuclear weapon over at me. I mean, so he's going, this is just fair fighting. And, again, I'm with you, Mike. I guess in my heart of hearts, you're right. the information came out about Rodgers more and more. I'm guessing from Rodgers' camp. I think the information and everything is going to get out, though, to a degree this weekend, no matter what, with the fact that the 49ers called Green Bay and did that. And then Rodgers somehow knew of the situation. So there's just too many ears involved in that for that not to squeak out by somebody. And, yes, then I think probably Rodgers leaked some other stuff out, or at least his camp to, apply the pressure even more greatly.
Chris, nothing you say is going to change my mind on the fact that this was all orchestrated and planned. And I think they manipulated the 49ers into making that call, knowing that that would be the first domino to fall on what became an avalanche of news, all aimed at exacting this vengeance on the Packers. And if I'm a Packers fan and I'm trying to figure out who to be upset with here, I agree with you preliminarily. I'm upset with what they did last year. I'm upset with number one, using a first-round pick and the fourth-round pick that was packaged with it to trade up on a position that is not a position.
And a position that they're still not going to be able to throw that guy out there this year. They still can't. Right. So go ahead.
If all goes as planned this year, he'll stand on the sidelines the entire season again. With a team that's 13-3 2 straight years and really could have benefited from that first-round pick and fourth-round pick. That's how it got started. But if I'm a Packers fan and I'm trying to apportion blame here, you mentioned the numerous trips and how big of a deal it is because Rodgers is so upset.
Right.
These guys have other things to do in the offseason. They've got free agents to evaluate. They've got contracts to negotiate. They've got film to watch. They've got and on the flight they could talk and they could meet and you can multitask. But the idea that I got to get up today at 5 a.m. and I got to go over to the airport and we got to fly out to California because we got to go kiss Aaron Rodgers' butt again when I got other stuff to do.
Right.
There's a point where it does keep you from being as effective as you can be.
Yes.
There's a point where it does.
There's a point.
Then when you get ready to make your draft picks, that's when he drops the nuclear bomb when you're trying to focus. If I'm a Packers fan, I'm getting upset with Aaron Rodgers right now.
Well, I understand.
For the turmoil he's causing the team.
Well, there's a point. Yes, he's turmoil right now. But, I mean, come on. I don't care. We go back to the start of the root of the problem. Mike, if we were told this was going to happen before the draft last year, you would have gone, Aaron Rodgers is going to be pissed. Oh, this is going to be great TV. I mean, did they not know what they were dealing with? Because we did. We knew what they were dealing with. We knew what was going to happen. Yeah. Well, now they care. Because
But Chris,
this is still their issue.
Two wrongs don't make a right. Learned that when I was 5.
Very good.
I still don't necessarily practice it, but I learned it when I was 5. And look, Chris, let's compare and contrast. What did Deshaun Watson do? The minute the season ended, what did he do? Made it known. I want out.
Yeah.
Didn't wait 3 months. Didn't wait for the perfect time to sabotage draft weekend for the Texans and drop that on them. Put it in any other context with any other player. If any other player, Mahomes, Russell Wilson, anyone who's done it or hasn't done it, to have all that drop on you as you're getting ready for the draft, that is the act of someone who is calculated, strategic, and he doesn't care what damage he does to the organization. You know why he doesn't care? Because he's never playing for him again. That's the message.
Well, especially if he gave them
if he really was invested in staying in Green Bay, he would not have gone out of his way to screw things up for them on draft weekend, which is what he did. He went out of his way to throw them off kilter on draft weekend.
That's what brings me back to what you said earlier on. I think that, I think when you get back into your, draft weekend was the week, we had to get stuff done. The more we peel this back and talk about this and the things I've heard from people around the league over the weekend and things like that, I mean, they've known. I think he put them on notice since after the year. He didn't make it a public thing. I don't know why. Maybe he should have. I'm not trying to say that's right or wrong. But I think at a base level, we know they've known since then. So this must have been the line of demarcation or whatever else. And it didn't happen. So now he's going scorched earth without, actually saying he's going scorched earth, which I think I know is what actually pisses you off more than anything, is the fact that he just doesn't go all in on it and own it and everything like that.
Well, it's too late. He owns it.
Yeah.
This is the involuntary tattoo that someone, he got blackout drunk and someone took him to the tattoo shop and he got the tattoo.
Streaking through the quad.
He cannot make it. He cannot make it go away at this point. And he had a chance. He had a chance to say fake news or whatever else he wanted to say. He could have gone on camera with Tirico and said, it's all phony, it's all fake. I love Green Bay. I love the Packers. I'm not leaving. He confirmed it all.
Yeah.
And then he talked on camera for 5 minutes with Twin Spires, a betting outlet, and the issue never even came up. Look, I am not a trained journalist, but how do you agree? If Aaron Rodgers says to me, I'll talk to you for 5 minutes, but you can't ask me about my situation with the Packers, I say, Aaron, thanks, but I can't do it. I can't talk to you for 5 minutes on camera. I look like Bozo the Clown if I don't bring it up with you on camera. And someone eventually will agree to that, and that happens all the time. And I've said no to interviews in the past when they say, well, you can't ask about this, and sometimes it's something I wasn't even going to ask about anyway. But don't put conditions on me. Just don't do the interview. If you're not enough of an adult that you can't handle that question, that you don't have an answer for it because you know you're going to be asked it, that's on you. That's not on me. And how could you talk to Aaron Rodgers and not wander into that territory when it's the biggest issue in all of sports over the weekend? It really did hijack the draft. Look. This is the Monday after the draft. We spent 25 minutes talking about it, not because we want to.
Yeah, I know. Well, he's a huge star. There's no doubt about it. And I don't know, you agree to those terms when you're some TV network that I've never the hell heard of. You'll just go, what do you want to talk about, Aaron Rodgers? Sure. Whatever you say. We just want to have you on.
It makes you look like a buffoon. It makes you look like a clown show.
Sure.
It does, though. And I'm not afraid to say it. It makes you look like a pack of idiots that you agreed to talk to that guy for 5 minutes without asking him about his situation with the Green Bay Packers. It was like an alternate reality. He's all happy, and his name tag said Turd Ferguson, which I have to give
you like that. You like that.
I like that a lot.
Yes.
I like that. I love that. But it's like it would have been if he had a 5-year extension fully guaranteed with the Green Bay Packers. And there was a certain amount of acting, I think, on his part. I mean, it's got to be chewing away at him.
Of course.
He wants his thing to be resolved.
Yeah, of course. This is his life. I mean,
not resolved.
It's the last 2 years of his career. He didn't envision it going this way. He didn't envision playing at a high level and then being an MVP and feeling like, he's not supported or has any security or that he's not on a 1-year deal. That's how he feels. He's the MVP of football and he feels like I'm on a 1-year deal. What do I have to do? I have to go out and prove it? I got to prove it to make the team next year? And he's saying, screw that. So that's it. And, again, last week, Mike, I said, remember early last week when we were talking, and I can't remember exactly what we were talking about, but I was like, this is, they don't have to worry about there was a contract stuff. Remember, I said, they don't have to worry about it. He won't be there next year. I had already heard enough things around the league to know that things were rocky.
But you didn't expect it to happen.
I didn't know. I didn't realize it was the critical like that. That's what I was getting to. You're right. I didn't realize that. So that's now I'm sitting here going like you. I just think, well, it's just a matter of time. It sounds like he's going to dig in, and they're going to dig in for a while, and we'll see if somebody comes to the table and makes some big-time offer to get Aaron Rodgers.
I think if we're smart enough to realize they were manipulating him, and they were trying to get him just angry enough that he goes out and plays at an MVP level, but not so angry that he upsets the apple cart, he's smart enough to see it too because he's smarter than we are. And he saw that he's being manipulated, and he's blown it up. He's blown up their plans. You're not going to play this game with me. I played it in 2020, and I went out and had an MVP season after you pissed me off.
Right.
I'm not doing it again.
Right.
And this whole fire Gutekunst thing, couple of things on that. One, I think he's out of line.
Well, we don't know this yet. I mean,
Charles Robinson reported. When Charles Robinson put his name on it, if he talked to somebody in Rodgers' camp who told him, that's good enough for me.
Okay.
He wants Gutekunst out. And it fits the profile that I've compiled over the last 10 years on Aaron Rodgers. Would he want the guy to be fired? Yes, he would, based on everything that's happened. But I think there's a couple of problems here, beyond him being out of line for wanting it. Number one, Gutekunst may just be the messenger for Mark Murphy. I think Mark Murphy's the puppet master here. So if you want Gutekunst out, you want Murphy out too. That may be the unspoken part of this. And the other reality of it, Chris, And I was writing something about this before the show, and I'm going to finish it up when we're done. The fact that they don't have an owner, we've talked about no owner as it relates to
this is
when
where
a
it's
coach
a problem.
needs to be fired or a GM needs to be fired. It's a problem now. Hey, there are good reasons to not have an owner who can meddle in everything. There are bad reasons to not have an owner who can solve problems now. There is no one in that organization who can unilaterally, without worrying about what anyone's going to think, on the executive committee, the board of directors, the shareholders, there's no one there who has the unquestioned power to fix this without regard for future consequences. And you can't hold that person accountable if it's Mark Murphy right now. You can't make him do anything right now. All you can do is later. Deal with it later. If it ends up being a giant mess, if everything blows up and it lingers, that's when shareholders can uprise. That's when board of directors can start asking tough questions. That's when executive committee can launch a coup and Murphy's out. But it's nothing that can happen right now. It's nothing that can be fixed right now by anyone other than Murphy, and there's no one who has the unquestioned power to say, this is what I'm going to do. Here's what I'm going to do. We're going to trade Jordan Love today. No, we're going to cut Jordan Love today. We're going to give Aaron Rodgers a 5-year fully guaranteed contract. And we're going to I don't know that, and again, I don't like even saying it, but an owner would have the ability to fire Brian Gutekunst if the owner wanted to. Yeah, this is what it takes to keep the most successful, popular, important figure in this organization here. I'm going to do what I have to do. I don't have to worry about anybody telling me otherwise differently. That's what they don't have, so they can't fix it the way that other teams could right now if they wanted.
Agreed. That's where like the owner's business acumen and just their ability to people skills, all that, maybe foresee the storm that's coming when he's sitting in the meeting rooms and hearing his GM about to trade up, to get a quarterback. I mean, I agree with you. That's where the owner is very, very valuable. There's no doubt about it. And yeah, I mean, again, I'm with you as far as like it's not a great look for Aaron Rodgers to be like fire Gutekunst or whatever else. It's not, But again, I think the way he's looking at it, he's going, well, the guy wants me fired. I mean, he's trying to fire me, so he's petty as it is. Again, back to your two wrongs don't make a right. It's not a good look, but he's frustrated. There's no doubt about that. We see it.
This really does have its roots, and this is the message for every other sports organization out there. You can't drop bombs like that without giving the guy a heads up. And maybe they were afraid to give him a heads up. Maybe no one wanted to be the one to tell him. Right? It's like telling Raquel Welch she doesn't move her arms enough when she dances. No one wants to be the one who goes in there and gets beaten up by Aaron Rodgers for being the messenger of, we're trading up for your potential replacement. So it's not just how they handled it. It's the fact that they did it.
Yeah.
You can't do it. You just can't do it. And I understand they'd love to replicate what happened with Favre to Rodgers and let's hand the baton from Rodgers to someone else, because they had 20 long years of not good football between Bart Starr and Don Majkowski. They got a glimmer from Don Majkowski, and then they got Brett Favre. But the Packers in the 70s and the 80s, they were laughing stocks. They were
pitiful.
punching bags. They were horrible.
Yeah.
And they want to avoid that. And they may get that now because they overplayed their hand as it relates to the final years of Aaron Rodgers.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.